Joseph was clearly a huge picture and a type of the Messiah Jesus. We know that. He was the father's most favored son. He was rejected and despised by his own. Remember when he told them they would bow down to him someday? And then what happens? He left Hebron. Hebron means alliance or fellowship. That's what Hebron means. And the father sent Joseph out to go check on those brothers and report back to him. Well, what happened? As he drew near where? Dothan, that's where they were. They were in Dothan shepherding the father's flock there. And what does Dothan mean? It means laws and customs. So as he drew near, they conspired to murder him, the son, right? It's like that parable that Jesus said about the vineyard, the vine dressers, and they killed the prophets and they killed all those that the master brought to him. But then he thought surely they will respect my son, and he sent his son and they killed him too. So there's a huge picture of that in Joseph's story. And then they hand him over to the Gentiles for what? 20 pieces of silver. And who came up with that plan? Judah. That's where the name Judas derives from. And it was the same price as a slave. 30 pieces of silver in Jesus' time was also the price of a slave. So this is an amazing picture, right? So then they hand him over to the Gentiles. Later on, Joseph was falsely accused. Remember that? Potiphar's wife. He was falsely accused, and he was sent down to that place of judgment, the place of the condemned. Wow. So he was down in that dark place, and two were down there with him. Remember, the cupbearer and the baker from the king's, they were the king's prisoners, right? One of them lives, the cupbearer, he was restored to the king. The other one was cursed, just like the two on the cross with Jesus. Wow. And then what happened? Joseph was raised up out of that place of the condemned and brought before the throne. And he was the only one found worthy to reveal God's future plan, right? That time of great harvest and the time of great trouble, that 7-year time of great trouble. Well, that's the same picture, I believe, of Jesus. In the book of Revelation, chapter 5, when John sees that vision of heaven, and he was the only one found worthy to take the scrolls out of the right hand of him who sits on the throne. Wow. And then what happened right after that? After that, the Pharaoh exalts and glorifies Joseph. He puts him at the right hand of the power. He was his right hand man. Everyone had to bow the knee except for he who sat on the throne. And he gave him a Gentile bride. Remember, her name was Asenath. He gave Joseph a Gentile bride. Wow. So he's in a Gentile land. He's with his Gentile bride. She's safe with him. They collect a great harvest. And when that last piece of grain was brought into the storehouses, into Joseph's house, what happens? The 7-year time of great trouble comes. And that is when his brothers come back to him. And then he finally reveals to them that he is alive. He said to them, Ani Yosef. And they were scared. They were like, and he said to them, come closer. Don't be afraid. I am Joseph, your brother. And all those years, they lied to their father Israel, right? They said that a wild animal had devoured him. They put blood, remember they killed the goat and they put the blood on Joseph's tunic and they brought it back to the father. So Israel was lied to for all of those years, that long, long period of time. And it's kind of like Psalm 22, where it was changed to like a lion's paw at my hands and my feet instead of they pierced my hands and my feet. So Israel was lied to there as well, because if you look at the Dead Sea Scrolls in Psalm 22, the original is they pierced or bore through my hands and my feet. But what happens? Joseph forgives those brothers. He forgives them and shows great mercy and grace to them. And when his father finally sees that Joseph is alive, he says, now I can live. It was like he came to life. Israel came to life when he realized that Joseph was still alive. And that's how it'll be for Yeshua someday, for Jesus, when Israel finds out that Jesus is alive. Yeshua is alive. And then he blesses them. He restores them. He brings them together, his new family and his old as one family, and they live in the best of the land forever and ever, right? See the picture, you guys? It's all in the Bible. It's all there. And you can't miss it, my friend. So, hey, if you haven't checked out my new book, check it out on Amazon. See Jesus in the Old Testament. You'll see Joseph and many other places where Jesus is found in the Old Testament. And I think you'll be blessed by it, my friend. So, hey, God bless you. And I will see you in Israel. I'm leaving tomorrow morning. You can subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, all that, hit the bell. You won't miss a thing because I'll be reporting to you live from Israel. And I think it'll bless you. And you can check out this playlist right here, How to Find Jesus in the Old Testament.